Hey there Guardians, Shifty here, and in today's video I've got for you a solo flawless run of the Spire of the Watcher dungeon. Overall this will be my 8th solo flawless completion, so I do have a bit of experience with this dungeon, especially as a solo player, and doing it without dying. While I don't intend this video to be a guide, I think you will find some useful tips whether you're going in solo yourself or if you're heading in with a group. This will be a live commentary run, so I will be talking my way through the dungeon. Anyway, with that said, let's go over my loadout for this video. So I am running a Dawnblade Warlock using Well of Radiance. Of course, I'm using fusion grenades as well. For my aspects, I have Touch of Flame and Icarus Dash. And for my fragments, I have Ember of Eruption, Ember of Char, Ember of Ashes, and Ember of Singeing. As for my weapons in this dungeon, I use the Witherhoard in my kinetic slot for the entirety of the dungeon. I also use the Ikilos SMG for the entire dungeon as well. Specifically, I use this because I am using a Warmind Cell build. Also, I highly recommend Volt Shot on this if you're going to use the same. Then in my heavy slot, I'm using the Taipin Linear Fusion Rifle for the entire dungeon up until the final boss fight, and from there I swap from the Taipin to the Bump in the Night rocket launcher. As for my armor mods, I did mention I am using a Warmind Cell build, so keep an eye out for what mods I'm using for that, but I'm just going to quickly show you each piece of armor, and if you need to see anything in more detail, just pause the video. Also note that I do swap out any Linear Fusion Rifle ammo mods for rocket launcher ammo mods for the final boss fight. Alright, and that is it for my loadout. If you have any questions about my loadout, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below. Also, just ignore the 117 discipline there. I have no possible way of reducing my discipline with my current gear and build. So, with that said, let's get into the solo flawless run of the Spire of the Watcher dungeon.
We've landed at the source of the complex's AUG supply. Centuries in Martian rust.
So for this video, I don't intend it to be a guide necessarily, but hopefully as I go through the entire dungeon, you will see some things that will be helpful in your own solo flawless run, or if you're doing it as a group. I think if I had one singular piece of advice for this dungeon, it's learn the locations of all the nodes for each circuit in every encounter. Once you know the locations of each node for each circuit, those encounters become a lot easier because you know exactly where you're going with your attrition buff. Alright, so here we are at the opening of the dungeon. Let's take out this goblin real quick. I also want to take out the cyclops that are spawning around the area. So I have one down, I believe. Let's take that second one down. We have 3 of them down. I'll just leave the 4th one and go ahead and get my attrition buff. Alright. Attrition buff acquired. I'm going to ignore most of the enemies here. Just head off to the left. I always start with this circuit. So we'll get that circuit started. Looks like I'll have to deal with this Minotaur. Alright. That first circuit is completed except for the very last node. And I am actually going to leave that be for now. Let's get started on the second circuit. Second circuit is started with the second node. There's the third, 4th, and 5th. That circuit is complete except for the very last node as well. So the left hand side is done. Let's go over to the right hand side. And you can see how knowing the locations of the nodes makes this a lot faster. And that third circuit is done except for the very final node. And so we have one circuit to go. We'll start that one. And all the circuits are complete except for the last node in each of them, which I can hit all at the same time here. The benefits of leaving them all to be hit at the same time is you don't have to worry about any of the supplicants. Alright, let's head down. So I'm going to kind of break the momentum here with Icarus Dash a little bit. And it should be ready once we get to the bottom here. I'm going to Icarus Dash backwards just to make sure I don't die. And now we're going to make our way through the jumping puzzle.
They were rivals in the Golden Age. This wasn't just a pillory site. It was a joint.
So this is my first solo flawless run that I'm posting on the channel. The reason I'm starting with a Warlock is I think, in my opinion, it's the easiest to solo flawless this dungeon on.
They were looking for something more than to imprison Rasputin's subminds.
So for this jumping puzzle, there are a couple of ways you can approach it. I'm not going to try to cheese it or kind of do any skips here. I'm just going to go through it like a player normally would. I will be skipping some of the enemies though. Take out the snipers. I have my super here. Might as well go ahead and use it to take out this Hydra. Alright, Hydra's down. I'll just ignore the harpies for now. It'll help us get through this jumping puzzle just a little bit quicker. I think I'm still being sniped at by one hobgoblin, that's fine. Alright, let's make our way to the end of the jumping puzzle. It's not very long at all.
Information stored here, but could it be linked to my visions? Why else would the witness be interested in these files?
Alright, and we're officially at the first encounter of the dungeon. There's no boss here, and for the most part you can skip the enemies in this encounter. And like I said before, knowing the circuits is going to help immensely here. So I'm going to make my way over here to grab the first Arctrician buff and start both circuits. One fusion grenade is enough to take out the Minotaur. Start the circuits. Like I said, you can ignore enemies for the most part, but I do like to toss down Wither Horde there. And as you can see, I'm using a Warmind Cell build. And Warmind Cells can hit the nodes as well, so I don't have to hit that one. The first circuit is complete. I'm going to go around this right-hand side to get started on the second one. Take out a few of those goblins there. You do have to be careful for the Hydras. Up to the second floor we go. I'm gonna start both nodes here if I can. Toss a grenade on these goblins. As you may have noticed, I'm still on my very first Electrician buff as well. Alright, one circuit complete. I'm going to wrap around the left side to get started on the next one. Let's stop to heal just a bit here. And let's finish off the second circuit and head on up. Minotaur is going to spawn right here. As you can see, knowing exactly where the nodes are is super helpful in making this go by quickly. And also, if you're going for solo flawless, getting practice with each encounter is really important as well. Unless you have experience doing solo flawless runs in the past, just getting some practice to figure out the best way to do things for you is always helpful. And here we are finishing off this encounter. Grab our loot and let's head up to the second encounter, which is right after this one.
The Vex mine remains in this terminal like an open door. It's using the tower's arrays to connect with installations across Seoul. This must be in preparation to imprison the submarines. Breaking their connection could end this threat.
Alright, let's go over here and rally. And then get started. I always pretty much go down this one, which is labeled as 1. And that's where I always start each damage phase. And so I'm going to go down here and grab the Electrician buff from this Minotaur. I'm going to head back to the center and start all 4 circuits at once. I'm also going to take care of the goblins that spawned with the other Minotaur real quick. And then get to work on the circuits. So I pretty much go in the same order every single time. And I also work on multiple circuits at the same time rather than just working on one. This makes this encounter go just a little bit faster. And Warmind Cells finished that one off for me. So it did hit the last node. Some people don't like to go for that last node to avoid the harpy spawns until the very end. It doesn't bother me, so I just go ahead and hit it. If there are any harpies bothering you, you can go ahead and shoot them. Sticky grenades are really helpful here. You can usually take out a group of harpies all at the same time. Let's hit this Warmind Cell. Let's finish off this circuit. And I'm going to finish off this circuit from over here. And we have one more circuit left. Let's take care of this harpy. A Warmind Cell started this one over here. We'll hit that node. So for the boss damage phase, make sure there's no harpies floating around the side that you're going out on. Make sure to take care of any goblins. When you're ready to start the damage phase, just go ahead and hit the final node of the final circuit. As it approaches, I'm going to place my well down. I just use my submachine gun for the eyes. And damage starts. I'm going to do 3 linear fusion rifle shots, then refresh my Wither Horde. He's kind of moving all over the place. Alright, looks like a pretty solid damage phase. Most of the time this boss fight ends up being a 5 phase for me just because of my own personal mistakes. But you can 4 phase this pretty easily. It's just a matter of hitting your shots effectively. Let's take those harpies out. Let's get all of these started since I have my electrician buff. And again, I'm going to go out on the same side and do the same exact order I did last time. Now, of course, there's going to be some goblins that spawned with each of the 2 new minotaurs that spawned. I will deal with those here. Warmind cell for me. Another Warmind cell. I think Warmind cells are vastly underrated in this dungeon in particular. I think they're pretty solid overall, especially with the reissue of the Ikilos SMG. So like I said, same order. Toss a sticky nade up there and completely miss. That's fine. Volt shot Ikilos is a solid option for this dungeon. Finish off this circuit. Finish off that circuit. Again, we're down to just 1 circuit left to complete. So there is a Minotaur out on this beam that I'm going to take out to do damage. Some goblins I'm going to want to take out here as well. So this Minotaur I am going to want to take out as well. I don't want to be dealing with that as I'm trying to do the damage phase. And let's head on out here. Make sure there's no goblins. I do have a fresh electrician buff. Goblins are almost dealt with. Alright, let's head on up here and get ready for damage. So I'll hit that final node. And damage. Unfortunately, I missed that Wither Horde. Still really solid damage. My only issue now is I only have 1 linear fusion rifle shot left. So I'm kind of hoping I get an ammo drop, but if I don't, I might have to rely on my fusion grenade spam. Alright, all the circuits are started once again. I see a little bit of heavy ammo right up above me here. Right here. Perfect. There's some more. Things are looking pretty good for this next damage phase. Did I mess? I must have missed one here. There we go. I got too distracted by some of the goblins and other enemies that I forgot I hit that one. Finish off that one again. Shoot way over there to finish that one. Deal with those goblins. That Warmind cell helped start this one for me. Looks like all those harpies are down as well. Make sure my linear fusion's reloaded. Looks like I'm solidly on my way to my super. Perfect. I have that ready. And whenever I am ready here, I'm going to go ahead and start the next damage phase. I don't want that harpy beaming me while I'm trying to do damage to the boss, so I took that out. Alright, damage phase. No Vice Stinger on that one. Again, still another really solid damage phase, and I can very easily 4-phase this one unless I mess up the next one royally. So this looks like it can easily be a 4-phase, but I might mess up this next damage phase, and it also depends on if I get any heavy ammo drops as well. So hopefully I do, but you can never guarantee them. I do see a little bit of heavy ammo over that direction, and I'm going to go ahead and take out these harpies real quick. And the boss is on me, so let's start working on the circuits. Did I not start them? Oh, I must have missed just that one, unfortunately. A little bit of heavy ammo there as well. Perfect. Okay, that one's done. I will have to head out there to grab some heavy ammo. Kind of got flung by the Minotaur a little bit. Grab this heavy ammo. So I have 8 shots of my linear fusion. Not sure if that'll end up being enough. Maybe we'll get a little bit more here. I'm not going to shoot that Warmind cell yet because I don't want to risk it starting the damage phase. Make sure that's reloaded. Alright, let's go for it. Alright, damage. And we're not going to have enough because I didn't have heavy ammo. Oh, we got it. We got it just in the nick of time. Perfect. That would have been no problem at all had I had enough heavy ammo. But either way, we got that 4-phase in this time. But like I said, a lot of the time it ends up being a 5-phase for me. So we got a bit lucky on that one.
Get to the reactor, lest we lose everything.
Toss a grenade down on all of those enemies. We have our attrition buff here. Ooh, that was a close one. Lost a Minotaur there for a second. Alright, we have our attrition buff. I'm going to shoot this War Mindset, which is going to proc a few of the nodes. It actually procced all except for that very top one, which can be very useful. And I almost messed that up. Those fans can really get you on a solo flawless run sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to go out this light side over here. And the enemies are going to spawn. We're going to deal with the Hydra in the middle right away. Or try to. Next set of enemies spawning here. And Minotaur is down. We have an attrition buff. I'm going to shoot this War Mind cell to activate some of the nodes. I hit 2 of them. Let's rotate around and get some of the other ones here. And that War Mind cell also got the node in the middle, which is right there. And we are good to head to the final boss fight. Alright, and for the final boss fight, all I'm going to do is swap to my Demolitionist Bump in the Night rocket launcher. I'm going to swap to rocket launcher ammo finder, and rocket launcher scavenger. Oops, wrong one. There it is. Let's rally. And let's go ahead and get started. So it looks like we're going to have an ad spawn as well as a Hydra here. Have to be careful, the boss is coming up on me over here. One thing you can do during these Hydra phases is you can actually head into the other room and be relatively safe from the ads. Just like this, and this is what I'm going to do after every damage phase. I come into this room to deal with the Hydras. Next order of business is to kill one of the Minotaurs and then open the doorway. So there's a Minotaur down. We have our attrition buff. Let's shoot the nodes here. If I see red on my radar right here, I always throw down a Wither Horde right there. And the door is open. And Warmind cells are useful. Alright, let's see where our yellow circuits are. Both of them happen to be the ones on this side. Get all those started in this room. All we have left to do is cover them in this one. And I'm actually ready to start the damage phase right away. Maybe if the boss didn't head on over there. Let's take care of some of the ads while we wait for the boss to rotate back this way. Boss is on the way. I'm going to head back in here to finish off the circuits. And let's finish them off. Boss is in the room. We're good to go. Supplicant was coming after me. So for boss damage, I'm going to try to Wither Horde, then Rocket, then Grenade, then Rocket again. I'm going to try to take advantage of Demolitionist as much as I can. When it's about to explode in there, I'm going to go ahead and place my well. I often miss my Wither Horde just like that. Free Wither Horde. And that should be it for the damage phase. Not the best damage phase because I kind of messed it up a little bit, and I also missed my Wither Horde initially. It's never good when I miss that Wither Horde initially. So if I go in this room and clear out the enemies, this is going to be relatively safe. The boss is going to get locked out here momentarily. And we're free to take out the Hydras with Wither Horde and whatever else we want. Occasionally, one of the Supplicants does try to make its way in here, but it's not too big of a deal. They are going to be maxed on heavy heading into the next damage phase. Head to this side and take out this Hydra. Alright, Minotaurs are going to be spawning. Don't know if there were any ads down there, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to head to this side. We're going to take out that Minotaur. Go get my Electrician buff. Start the nodes in the middle. Wither Horde here because I saw red on my radar. Try to stay a little bit airborne to avoid the Supplicants and get that door opened. I'm going to head in here to kind of move away from the boss a little bit. Take out a few enemies to start things off. Once the boss makes its way in here, I'm going to head back to the other room and look for the nodes that I need. And it looks like I'm going to be taking care of both circuits here on this right-hand side this time. Make sure to avoid the Minotaur a little bit. I just decided to kill the Minotaur. Nodes are complete in that room. Have to go under the bridge here. Have to go off the ledge right here. And other than that, I am ready for another boss damage phase. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the final nodes, make my way out, and get in position for boss damage. Alright. Let's see if I can actually hit my initial Wither Horde this time. No, but I did weaken it. And boss damage phase is done. And he's under half after 2 damage phases. Let's head in here, take out the enemies that are in here. Perfect. Now this room is relatively safe again. Let's deal with the hydras. One hydra down. Off to the left we go. And I missed my Wither Horde. That second hydra is going to be down very quickly. And now our minotaurs are going to be spawning. Patrician grabbed. Wither Horde again. I always recommend kind of just jumping around, trying to get away from the supplicants. The Wither Horde doesn't always take care of them, which is why I recommend jumping anyway. Let's head into this room. No enemies spawned yet. Looks like that circuit, not that one this time. Which means there's going to be one on the other side that we're going to have to complete. Alright, that one's ready to go. I might as well just hit it real quick. One circuit complete. Now we can work on the one on this right hand side. Which one is it going to be? I'm not entirely sure yet. It is this one. Which goes under here. And right there. And right there. And whenever we're ready, I can finish that node and we can go for another damage phase. Close the door. Now hopefully I can hit my Wither Horde again. Or at least weaken the boss, debuff the boss. I did not. But that was a really solid damage phase. That was a very solid damage phase regardless. So it looks like we're on our way to do a 4 phase of the final boss as well. Alright, looks like the enemies in here are cleared out. I even have 3 rockets ready to go for the next damage phase. And if all else fails, I can use my fusion grenade spam as well. Boss kind of made its way over here, so I'm going to shift to the left again. Let's get some SMG shots on it to help kill it pretty quickly. That one's down. That one should go down pretty quickly as well. I'm going to hit that War Mine cell. Do some damage to some of the enemies in the middle. Then I'm going to make my way to this side. Toss a fusion out there. I actually wasn't anticipating these enemies being here. Either way, I'm going to head over here, grab the Artrition, hit the nodes, Wither Horde. Open the door. That should be the last enemy spawn in this room. And I picked up some more heavy ammo as well. So you can see one of our circuits is on this side. Finished it off in this room. And our other circuit's going to be on this side. I'm going to place a rift down here just to be safe, because I think the Minotaur is chasing me, and I was right about that. Good thing I had my rift down. Alright, this circuit's almost complete already. That circuit's complete, so all I have to do is finish the one on the right-hand side. I mainly killed that one because I didn't want to really deal with a Minotaur chasing me over here. Alright, we're ready for the final, hopefully final damage phase, I should say. I think I would really have to mess this one up to not get this done. Hopefully that's not the case. And there it is. The final boss is down in 4 damage phases. Alright, and that is it for this solo flawless run of the new Spire of the Watcher dungeon. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you would like to see me run it on a Hunter and a Titan as well, just let me know in the comment section down below. I just want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on my next one.